Hello and welcome to Green Homes and Bacon, and in this week's episode I'm back on Queensland's Sunshine Coast to meet a terrific young family and profile their new Birtinya Island green home, and I'll also include some insights from their home builder and designer. So follow me!
You're watching Green Homes and Bacon.
Birtinya Island is the exciting and beautiful new waterside community located in the central Kawana region at the southern end of Queensland's Sunshine Coast. Part of a greater $5 billion development, Birtinya Island is surrounded by winding waterways and 40 hectares of the beautiful Lake Kawana. When finished, it will boast a thriving and supportive community hub that includes the $1.8 billion Sunshine Coast University Hospital. And amongst all of this, we'll find today's feature green home and its owners, Greg and Kylie Lamy, who have prepared a few delicious morning snacks so we can enjoy a chat about their green home. Greg and Kylie have been in their new home for just on 12 months and made the decision to build after moving to Queensland 2 years ago. But was building a green home in their thoughts?
I don't think so. We didn't really have in our mind that we wanted an eco or green home. It just happened to sort of pan out that way. I mean, the thing that attracted us to this type of home was the design, firstly. And it happened to be a smart eco home as well, so that was a benefit that came along with it. But no, it wasn't foremost in our mind, the green eco theme. However, having lived in it for nearly 12 months now, we can say that we're sort of it is in our mind now that the benefits of owning this type of home.
So I wonder what they thought a green or eco home was prior to building this home.
Well, in my mind, I would have thought a house in sticks with no electricity, using grey water to water all their plants, just a little bush kind of a hut with a garden where they were self-sustainable with vegetables and fruit and...
So you're saying alternative?
Yeah, alternative. That's my concept of it all, yeah.
Oh, look, honestly, I would have never have turned my mind to it, to be honest. If someone had said to me sort of, what's a green home, I would have had similar type thoughts, some sort of pole home in the bush with no electricity or running water or anything like that.
Somewhere down in Nimbin with a couple of hippies.
Yeah.
So I was quite amazed. Well, it's good that you've obviously had your eyes open now to actually what is a really intelligent home and what should be. And I guess that's the purpose of the program, really, is we're trying to show Australians that your home's really quite normal. It's nothing to be feared. And hopefully you're normal people. I guess you'd categorise yourselves as being normal? Common garden variety Australian family. No. So, and that's the thrust of the program, is to really and to show Australians that on the outside the house looks like a normal home you'd find next door, but it's really quite intelligent. It lives and breathes, and it has a lot of attributes that make it environmentally friendly and green, I guess. So, was it a frustrating process when you decided that we're going to build, finding the right design and the company that would build your home? Did it turn out to be easy, or was it like, did you have a look at lots of show homes?
Well, I had a look at a lot of homes. I had grand plans and wanted the biggest and the best home, but with the budget that we had, it didn't pan out that way. And we've looked at a lot of display villages, at different styles of houses, and then we were just living across the lake from the Birtinya display homes, and it was still getting built at the time, the display home area, and we happened to come across Planet Homes, and they were still in the process of building their display home, but we kept an eye on it, and once it was finished we went and had a look and met Jason, the builder and the owner of Planet Homes, and we really fell in love with his design and his knowledge and his, term a cliche, passion for this type of building. And it was really good for us to get that knowledge from the builder in the first place, and he was really nice to deal with, and as I said, we loved the design and his concepts at his display home.
And I imagine when Jason was talking to you that those concepts would have come up about the style of houses that he designs and builds being very environmentally friendly and sustainable. So did that just kind of just make sense to you at that time, that what he was suggesting in terms of how you design a home and how it actually functions and how it can be more energy efficient, how it can be more friendly on our environment, how it can save you money? I guess those were the sort of, were they kind of key things that you went, oh, okay, I didn't know that, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And it did make sense.
Everything he said, after living in the property now makes sense. May not have been perfectly clear at the time, like which way the house faces and the different things that are used and where the louvers are and what sort of floors and materials are used weren't, crystal clear at the time. But after having lived here, it's pretty clear now. That this wasn't just a house plonked on a block anywhere. It was a very well thought out process about which way it was going to go and where the walls were, and the whole design process was done to make this house an eco home, rather than just, the houses around us, just a house plonked on a block and that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess what we find is that half of the battle in getting a home like yours is really a design issue. Anyone could design, I say anyone, but that availability is there for anyone to take advantage of, is to design a home in a very intelligent way, so it does make sense, so it does breathe, that you have your ventilation, you have your light, the componentry, the construction materials. So that's really what we're trying to project, and you've come across that perhaps a bit by chance, but nonetheless I guess you're converted now, because I don't know, even with your extended family, you may not, I don't know if you use the phrase, we own an eco home, but if you'd said to your family, again, just talking about perceptions, I guess in the public arena, if you've gone back to your family when you've made this decision, says we're building an eco home, I mean, they'd probably look at you a bit strange, I imagine. Yeah, perhaps.
They would have had the same thoughts as us,
Oh my God, they've gone green on us.
What the hell are you doing? You quit your jobs and gone on the dole and moved to Nimba.
Yeah. And now you're going to change what you wear too,
probably. Wear a bit of hemp and thongs and stuff.
That's it.
You're watching Green Homes and Bacon.
So, Greg and Kylie have built themselves a stylish and sustainable green home and are now true converts, even though it wasn't in their sights before their introduction to Planet Homes. But has this had any influence on their family and friends?
Look, generally when our friends see the place, they're attracted to the design features rather than anything, and the eco green stuff is really just an aside, which normally when you tell them about it, they sort of act with a bit of surprise and say, oh yeah, no, that's right, yeah, there is ventilation, I can see that. I mean, generally they're attracted to the features of the home, the floors and the louvers and the various other things we've got in the place, but when you talk to them about the power saving and the cooling and heating and that sort of thing, that makes sense to them too, but it's not their first thought.
No. There is a tendency when people are building and designing a home to overbuild, to make it bigger than they need, grandiose. If they can afford it, if it's big, it tends to perhaps carry a status, but the opposite is true when you're building a very green and very smart home, because we're really building for something that we need, not stuff that we think we want. And of course, every square metre is money, and it costs money to keep it cool, costs money to heat it, costs money to keep it running. And so I guess part of Jason's philosophy when he spoke with you about building your home would have been that don't build more than you need. Is that fair to say?
Well, not that necessarily. It's make the best use of the space that you have. And when you look through our house, you'll notice there's no hallways. And you look through a bigger house, you'll notice there's hallways and there's a lot of wasted space. Not 1 inch of this place, or in our view, is wasted. It's all open. There's no hallways.
We've got storage in the attic, in the roof space. We've built in an attic, so.
And we haven't got a double carport, which really takes up in some other houses a massive amount of space for the house. But I mean, I didn't really want that. And as you see when you have a look around the home, like the carport is sort of a second entertaining area for us. So every little bit of the house is used in some way and not wasted. So, the square meterage of this house is really not that big, and most people are pretty surprised when we tell them how big it is, because they think, it sort of looks a lot bigger than that, but it's just, nothing's wasted.
Well, you've been able to get 4 bedrooms in here, study and an office. And an office. So it's not small. No. I think it's combining the central living area, plus your outdoor living today is pretty important, especially for us here in Queensland, because we use a lot of the outside because it's such an attractive climate to do so. So outside becomes just as important, I mean, living-wise than the inside is as well. So you can see there's a lot of focus has gone to your outdoor area.
Yeah.
And we gave that in our brief to Jason when he asked us what we wanted in our house, and we said definitely the indoor-outdoor living, 4 bedrooms, an office, and open plan, and we like the high ceilings with his design that he's got in his display home, so we incorporated that as well.
And it's quite good. You've got your master bedrooms separated at one end of the home from the children. Yeah. That's a bonus.
Yeah,
that was in the... It doesn't work quite as good as that, but that's the theory of it. Yeah.
Probably not with children your age, because they like to be around mum and dad a lot, but it is nice to be able to separate yourself a little from the children, isn't it? And you can, and because the back, if you want to call it the back area of the home, you can totally block that off. You can shut that off, can't you, as well?
Yeah.
And the kids have their own entertaining area.
Yeah.
With their TV, they've got a lounge. Well, what part of the home do you find that you gravitate to most? Relaxation-wise.
They're just this combined area, the outdoor area into the lounge room. We spend a lot of our time here. Like I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, as any woman does, and it's all integrated. It's all integrated, and so you see the family inside, outside. I can watch the kids in the pool from nearly everywhere in the house, which is very important. And this central area is where we do spend most of our time, of course, and that's what we wanted in the house.
Now, Greg, you're a public servant, or retired now, and in between careers?
Having a break, looking after the kids while they're small, and
Shouldn't you be doing some cooking?
Oh no, I can't.
It's not your thing?
No.
Can't boil water.
No. Barbecue, does that work?
Oh, I can do that, yeah.
Owning a green home and being a greenie are two very different things. Where do you fit in?
We own a green home. I don't think we're consciously greenies or anything like that. We don't go on picket lines and chain ourselves to bulldozers, and we've just built a green home and a climate-friendly home, and I think that's about as far as we go in regards to the greenie movement.
Look, I'd go so far as to say I'm opposite, like at the other end of the scale. But as time goes on and as you get older in life, you actually come back to the centre a bit more, I think. Well, that's how it's been for me. Rather than having those, sort of right or left wing views, you come more towards the centre as you start to see things a bit more clear as you get older. And I think, with housing and the way we live and our use of water and power and all that, whereas 20 years ago you wouldn't have even thought about, how we use our water and whether we should be saving power and solar and all that sort of stuff. But as you get older and you have kids and you move on in life, those things actually do become a little bit more present in your mind.
I do. I think we're probably of generations where not say the green movement, but environmental issues and things that come back to our living styles were never an aspect in society. So we're only in the last probably 10 years that's become more important. The last 5 years even more so. But that's why your children, I imagine, will grow up with a much greater consciousness, not just from yourselves, but probably from the education system. But just an awareness. It doesn't matter whether you're not so much being a greenie, but there are certain conservation values that you still have. I think in some way we're all green, aren't we? I mean, even from recycling your rubbish. That's still something that you do consciously to make a little bit of a difference, because what I imagine that you're aware that we don't want to be clogging up landfills with stuff that we shouldn't be clogging it up with, and it's just how far we take that to the next level, and whether that goes from your living style and as you've done with building a home. So with a very green home, there's probably 3 major components that contain it, which would be there's the design concept, there's the construction materials, and there's the technologies that go into it. Are you familiar with most of those aspects of your home? I mean, did you go into that depth when looking at how the house would be built and what it would be built of?
Yeah, look, in the start we weren't, but after it's explained to us, and We looked at a number of different blocks of land too, but we wanted the right block of land so this house would fit in the right direction to allow, you know, the free flow of air, etc. So, yeah, it was important to us. You know, we looked at a few blocks and we picked this one because of its aspect.
So orientating your home to the north, that became quite familiar to understand the concept of how you maximise the sun and the light.
Yeah, well, to me, you know, it was just simply you put a house on a block and that was it. That's what I thought. But, you know, with Jason's help and with the explanations of, you know, what goes where and the best way to put things, if you look at this house and the roofing on it, there's no other house around with this sort of combination of roofing. That's not just to make it look good and look cool, it's actually designed for the climate. And that's what this house is, designed for the climate.
Yes.
You know?
And to maximise the resources that we have around us that are free.
That's right, yeah.
So you get great light in your home. I imagine it's not often you have to put the lights on during the day in any of your rooms.
No, not during the day ever, not till it gets night that you know, the lights have to go on. Because it's so bright, and you know, we don't have any air conditioning apart from one unit in the house, but we've been here 12 months, we haven't used it. We don't need heating because all the walls are insulated and the roof is insulated. So there's no heating or cooling required.
You're watching Green Homes and Bacon.
So, as we look a bit deeper into the design features of their green home, Greg starts out by explaining the heating and cooling.
In the middle of summer, we don't, you know, we're flat out needing fans, to be honest, because you know, if you open up the louvers, the high louvers and the doors, to get the ventilation through, it's like sitting in a car. You know, if you're sitting in a car on a hot day and you open your window, you get some air. If you open the opposite window, you'll notice the effect, which is ventilation, of air going through. Well, it works exactly the same in the house.
And that's how cross-flow ventilation works, where the design allows the prevailing winds to be drawn into and then out of the home when required. This gives a constant cycle of cooler air ventilating the home, and it's achieved by appropriately positioned doors and windows, including raked ceilings, that allow the warmer air to be funneled up and out through clerestory-style louvered windows, which are easy to open and close.
Because you've got a concrete floor,
Yeah,
which
concrete.
is really attractive, but it also has a function.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. That's what we loved about it
Yeah.
to start with. But it's summer. In summer, this floor is cool all the time. So there's very little carpet apart from the bedrooms in the house, and that's again a cooling feature. But you know, for us, it was really, we like the look of it first, but the functional benefits are that it's cool and it's hard wearing.
And in winter, you're going to have sun on your floor, which warms it up.
That's right. In winter, the concrete floor becomes the home's thermal mass, which by its very nature will collect and store heat from the sun's rays and will radiate that heat back into the home throughout the evening. No heater required.
It's a shame it's probably not part of a building code in a way, isn't it, that we have some of these simple design features, what would seem to be a simple design feature put into new homes.
So, in summary, Greg and Kylie's green home consists of 4 bedrooms and a study, of which the master bedroom is separated at one end of the home and includes a generous ensuite and change room. The other 3 bedrooms are located at the opposite end of the home, which also includes their own bathroom and lounging area. The open-plan kitchen dining lounge provides a generous and light central area, which invitingly spills out into the outdoor living areas and the pool. A 3 kilowatt solar power system provides electricity, and the hot water is also solar heated. Responsible for this green home masterpiece is builder and owner of Planet Homes Queensland, Jason Bowker, and I caught up with Jason at the home to understand a bit of his green home philosophies.
We try and make design for climate or sustainability principles very simple. So we have 3 basic philosophies. The first is design, which is quite principle. The second is one of material selection, and the third is one of technology. And so we try and talk our clients through each of those areas. And for example, design, of course, is simple. Let's try and get some volume into the building. Let's get some good passage of air through the building. So then that relates to eaves lengths, it relates to window placement. So those are some of the key factors. It relates to which way the building faces. That's probably one of the more critical ones, which in my view 90% of the market misses. They think a green home can be one where you add a load of insulation in it and you stick a solar panel on the roof. Again, that's just a small part of the puzzle. It all has to work together. So moving on from design, yes, technologies do play a part. Of course, solar hot water systems, solar power systems, energy efficient products. But that's almost a retrofitting process. Anyone can do that to any part of their home, of course. And then the third component we look at is material selection. So we're looking for high performance materials. We're also looking for materials with low embodied energy. So something that can be produced with less energy input, and also something which is highly performing, such as insulative products, products with high R ratings. Now an R rating is a relationship between temperature change. In other words, if you insulate a home, if it's hot outside, it'll stay cooler longer, and if it's warm inside and cool outside, it'll stay warmer in the house longer. In other words, it slows down the passage of temperature change. Yeah. But it's important to note that if you purely just insulate a house, take an example of an igloo style home with no windows, of course it can't absorb a late change, the cool southerly breeze. So the more insulation you put in a home, the more critical the orientation, the window placement and the ventilation of the home becomes.
To design a home where you can do that, it's not technically difficult, is it?
No, not at all. It's a common sense approach, and to be honest with you, we've been designing, not me, but in Queensland we've been designing homes like that for probably 50, 60 years, and to be honest with you, it's been forgotten. It's been forgotten because a lot of the time the marketplace is driven purely by price. So in other words, if your eaves are less, then there's less eave. Your roof space is smaller. If it's square, it's a more efficient shape. So in a sense, the market and the project home mentality is driven our housing style. And some of the principles of controlling of sunshine and shade and correct orientation have been lost.
Jason, you're really passionate about what you do. Why?
I think it's something with a purpose, to be honest with you, Warren. Being a builder is easy. It's something that I enjoy. It's about creativity, creating something from nothing. You know, a green field to a wonderful home that people enjoy. So the creativity side of it is great, but when you add to it design for climate issues or sustainability issues, for me, it gives the whole thing gives me more energy to do what I do, because it has a fundamental purpose that I believe in.
Are we getting caught up in the terminology, eco, green, sustainable?
Absolutely. I have a philosophy of what I call green wash. And I think it's about marketing. There's a lot of companies out there that simply just market sustainability because they know it makes money. They know it's something they can sell. And the credentials to be green, let's say, are fairly ambiguous. What we try to do is take a common sense approach to it and have a moral undertaking. To consider all factors, weigh those factors up, present them to our clients, and then let our clients decide what part of sort of the sustainable world that you know they want to be part of.
So how did Greg and Kylie transition from their preconceived 300 square metre monstrosity to their, well, modest but very smart green home?
They quickly realised that it wasn't about size. It was about getting the best out of the home. In other words, a home will feel bigger when you've got good volume in the home, of course. We generally have volume in our homes because we're looking for some high level glazing. We're looking for some air movement, so as a home heats up during the day, that hot air rising has a direct discharge point from the home. So typically in our main living areas we orientate it northeast and prevailing winds on the Sunshine Coast are from the south. So if we have, for example, some high level louvers, even when your home is locked up during the day and the southerly is blowing, any heat is just removed immediately from the home. And that as a basic, just one basic philosophy was probably one of the factors that really moved Greg and Kylie to sort of a position where they wanted a sustainable home.
And that's the program for this week. Special thanks to Greg and Kylie Lamy for letting us into their fabulous green home, and their builder from Planet Homes Queensland, Jason Bowker. Thanks also to our program sponsor, Queensland Country. Next week I'm back at the Currumbin Eco Village on the Gold Coast to profile another architect's own home. You can also watch this and the other episodes online at greenhomesandbacon.com.au. Thanks for watching and see you next week.